Hi students, welcome to your body paragraph lecture. On this page you can see you've got the PowerPoint lecture I'm going to use in this video, but then we also have worksheets that go along with the structure given in this lecture, so you can use those on your own. I've also included different ways to write body paragraphs, different philosophies, some videos that talk about that. And all of them have the same elements, but you do want to make sure you're following the structure given in this lecture, all right? You may also want to check out this sample research essay here. This is the same one we've been looking at all semester long, to take a look at how the structure works in an actual research essay. This is our research essay on cats. And if you scroll down, you can see this body paragraph has two quotes, analysis, a topic sentence, and a concluding sentence. So there's the actual model for the lecture you're going to get today. Be sure to check that out. This is what your essay should look like. Okay? Let's begin. So I download the PowerPoint lecture here. Find my PowerPoint. And we're talking about body paragraphs, writing skills, parts of a paragraph. Contains three types of paragraphs, each with a specific structure. There's introductory paragraphs, and we talked about that last week. Please review the video and lecture on that if you missed it. There are body paragraphs that we're talking about today, and there are concluding paragraphs, which you'll find later in this module. All three have different requirements and different structures. Now, it is important to remember before you start any essay, any paragraph, to remember the purpose of your body paragraphs. Now, in a research essay, the purpose of your body paragraphs is to provide arguments that help prove your essay's main point or your thesis, all right? So that's its job. Your paragraphs are working towards that goal. So that means before you write your paragraphs, you have to know your main point. You have to have a thesis. Now, it is true, your thesis may change over this process, especially as you find more research and things like that. But you should always know that you've got to start somewhere. So this is a great place to start. So generally, the main point is listed in the teacher's assignment or paragraphs in a research essay. Evidence is essential. You'll be graded on your use of evidence in your body paragraphs in this class. Our rule for this class is the body paragraph in a research essay usually presents 2 to 3 pieces of evidence, each with an explanation of how that evidence proves the main point or the thesis, all right? Anything unrelated to those 2 to 3 pieces of evidence should be moved into a different paragraph. Now, this gives us a hint, right? Maybe before we write our body paragraphs, we should find our evidence first. We should find our evidence first. So here's sort of a simple outline of a body paragraph structure. A simple research body paragraph would have a topic sentence, would give evidence, would give analysis for 2 sentences, would give more evidence, give more analysis, and give a concluding sentence. These are the parts your body paragraphs will be graded on. But there are some more options for you too. You could also define any unclear terms from your topic sentence if you wish. You can paraphrase the evidence you give to explain it more for your audience. And you can see that would give us a longer body paragraph. All right. Okay, let's talk about each of those in detail. First, the topic sentence. The topic sentence is always first, and it has to summarize the paragraph to which it is attached, all right? So I'll be looking at all of your body paragraphs. In essay 1, that's both body paragraphs, you'll have 2, and making sure that there is a topic sentence and that summarizes the paragraph it's attached to. for your topic sentence is that you can also give the main point, which is from your thesis. You'll recognize these. Often that will have a topic, an argument, and an explanation. Let's talk about the middle of a body paragraph. The middle sentences of a body paragraph, except the topic and concluding sentence, may appear in any order. The order I'm giving you here is a suggestion only, and you'll want to experiment with transitions between these sentences, and you'll have a lecture on transitions later this week, okay? So after the topic sentence, you might want to define any terms that were unclear from the topic sentence. Notice that this sentence is optional. So explain any terms that are unclear from the topic sentence in your own words. If you use a dictionary, be sure to give a quote and an in-text citation. But notice that sentence again is optional. All right, next is evidence, and this is definitely required. You're required 2 pieces of evidence per body paragraph, and for this class that needs to be a quote because that's part of learning a research paper. So we're required to give a quote that offers evidence that your main point is correct. Be sure to introduce that quote, and we'll be talking about that later in the week. And be sure to give an in-text citation for that quote. Now that evidence can come from your personal interviews or the research you've done on your topic. Here's a quote I got from my research in my sample research essay. Notice how my own words begin the quote. This didn't come with the actual sentence I used. Notice I put quotation marks around the words I borrowed. And notice I include an in-text citation. And here, this is an article title because there is no author associated with this essay. Okay, so that's what a piece of evidence in an essay might look like. And here it is, that same quote appears right in that body paragraph. Here I've got a topic sentence. I chose not to define any terms, and then I just jump right into my. Okay, next, you have the option of paraphrasing the quote. Now this is a good step to use because it helps slow your reader down. It helps the reader process the evidence you just gave them, and it can help when you feel like your argument is really complicated. And so this is a sentence where you restate the quote in your own words. Again, this helps your reader process the quote. But that's optional. It's only if you feel it's necessary. Next, we have analysis. Now, this is another graded component, so this is required, and it is the essence of your body paragraph. It's the most important part, and it's often the part that students forget. So be sure you don't forget your analysis, okay? So let me show you the bottom of it. All right. So next, explain how that piece of evidence proves your main point. Tell how or why it is important. Now, one thing you can do, because so many people struggle with analysis, is first make sure your analysis is very different than a paraphrase, okay? So we're not just restating the quote in analysis, we're actually explaining how or why. If you're struggling with that, you may want to use this helper phrase, but be sure you take this helper phrase out before the final draft, okay? Make sure you cross it out. And that helper phrase is this. This quote helps prove my topic sentence because it shows blah. And if you just finish that sentence, that'll help you write your analysis sentence. So take a look here. You can see I've used these helper phrases to write my analysis here, but I've also crossed them out, right? Leaving just that body paragraph without those sample phrases. So please make sure you take those out before you turn in a final draft. Again, though, those sample helper phrases can. Next, you'll give more analysis. This is where you explain further how that piece of evidence proves your main point, tell how or why it is important. For this class, you're graded on having 2 sentences of analysis for every 1 sentence of evidence. So make sure you write 2 sentences. If you like, you can use a helper phrase like this also proves my thesis because it shows, but make sure you take that out before the final draft. Next, you're going to include more evidence. Again, each body paragraph needs 2 quotes. So give another quote that offers evidence that your main point is correct. This should be related to the previous quote in some way. Be sure to introduce that quote and be sure to give an in-text citation. So here's a sample quote of more evidence. You'll notice that it's related to the quote I gave previously, so that when they appear in the body paragraph, they're sort of related, okay? Notice that it doesn't, the quote does not start the sentence, and that there is an in-text citation. In this case, it's the author's last name. Now you've given a quote, so here's an option for you. You can paraphrase the quote or restate that quote in your own words. Again, this helps your reader process the quote. Next, your required element is analysis. Explain how that piece of evidence proves your main point. Tell how or why it is important. You can again use this helper phrase, but take it out before the final draft by crossing it out. All right. And more analysis, 2 sentences of analysis for every 1 sentence of evidence. Finally, you're going to give a concluding sentence. This is a required element. It's graded. Its job is to summarize the paragraph using different words than the topic sentence. If you need to, please use a thesaurus. A thesaurus can help you with your concluding sentence that is essentially saying the same thing, but using different words, all right? The thesaurus was recommended on the required text for this class. There's a link to an online thesaurus if you need it. All right, everybody. A body paragraph structure might look like this. Might give a topic sentence, define any unclear terms, give a quote, paraphrase that quote, give analysis, give more analysis, give another quote, paraphrase that quote, give analysis, give more analysis, and then give a concluding sentence. Remember that these middle sentences can be in any order. So if you have a preferred method of working and writing, you may want to not use this as a template, instead use it as a checklist. Do all of my body paragraphs have the required elements? Take a look at this. The minimum requirements for your body paragraph is a topic sentence, a quote, that analysis, more analysis, another quote, more analysis, and a concluding sentence, okay? Here's our sample body paragraph. It has the minimum, I believe the minimum 8 sentence structure. This is what your body paragraph should look like, okay? Each of these parts I'm looking for in your body paragraphs in order to give you a grade. Good luck, everybody.